What's going on, everybody? Definitely, let's get right to it. It's August 11th, 2019, 3:08 p.m. Mountain Time. Bro, what a time to be alive. Y'all tripping. I'm like, at this point, man, no matter what I have done, I don't even give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm moving forward. I'm about to plant good seeds. I'm about to make my family happy. I'm about to make my community happy. Lived here in northern Colorado for about a year now. The scenery, the people, everything's dope. Coming from a situation that I moved from, you can't help but to kind of dissect, like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, why are the mindsets and the moods and the people different than in this area? And then, you know what I mean? Like, how that stark difference is the mindsets and you know, sceneries and that really does change a person's attitude and perception and behavior. Everybody out here happy, bro. Like, everybody's out here friendly. But it's really like that no matter where you're at. I think at the essence, everyone in deep down are friendly, loving people. Society has just gotten so out of whack that everybody's protecting and now living out of fear. There's so many layers up, divided into types of stereotyping, behavior, and color, and way of thinking, and political views. It's become such a force that so many people are doing that. They're conditioned now. Our world, and especially in the United States, we're a lack of bosses in my generation because of the conditioned mind. It's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. We're missing all the advancements that humanity has made. We're missing all the potential advancements that humanity has an opportunity to make because of condition. Whether it be conditioned because of religion or a certain television show or money, fear, image. That's all egoic behavior and protection. Survival mode. We need to look within and tap in, people. There's a lot of talk and the consciousness in people's mind are unified on this word of max out or ascend or tap in, or you know what I mean? You'll hear that on TV and people around you because that's a universal frequency level of heightened. It's heightened right now, and people are kind of shifting in that manner. They're preparing themselves to shift in that manner of thinking to where you got to go in. You got to dig deep and see what's in there. Who you are as a person, what you teach your children now is going to reflect and project the way we advance as humanity in 25 years. What we do now is truly going to reflect the outcome, what I believe of the United States faith moving forward and humanity, really. There's so many variables, people. So many variables, so many variables, so many variables that can lead to the worst case scenarios. And at some point, I'll be brave enough to talk about it openly. But there's things within our reality that people have not allowed themselves to look at. One being climate change. You hear me say it a lot, but climate change is important to want to know enough about, because it's something new. Humanity's never really seen what they believe climate change's effects will leave on our planet, and this shit's real right now, and it's something that it's going to progress to be worse, and it's not a global warming thing. It's not a oh, because the weather's changing because it's hot thing. You really got to dig deep to really understand what climate change is, and weather will have a little bit to do with it, but other stuff will apply too. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this topic. It's just a reminder, like, we've come this far, 2 weeks on the journey. If you've been listening, been getting feedback from people, and so we're growing together, man. And I'm digging deeper, you're digging deeper, and we're understanding these layers that we run into. And I just want to remind you and catch you up to speed before I get lost. So we're rewinding right now. This is just a reminder of your weekend. It's all about you, right? 5 days a week, you grinding, punching in the clock, you know what I mean? And what you're doing is you're providing for your family, for your kids, for that corporation you work for that business you go and get gas for your vehicle. As much as we do for other people, we have no idea the lack that we do for ourselves. So we're spending this weekend to grow. 2 weeks in a row, we've talked about bitterness. Bitterness is that thing that you've got to put your hands in the dirt, put your hands in it, move it around, find it. Bitterness is there, and it's going to prevent your progression on growing as a better person and human being. Bitterness, y'all. Bitterness, people. Bitterness, bitterness, bitterness. Talked about that, but now we're getting a little bit deeper into really truly understanding why we want to have this conversation. This conversation is something that I believe is a direction that we're already headed as a species. I think and I believe that as a species that we're pointing to history to where our greatest asset will be within us, our minds and our consciousness and our efforts to be able to be curious enough to look and expand on consciousness. And it takes an individual effort. And so with the conclusion to that, we have to look at the fact that America's trends as far as its financial and economic future with the variables of incarceration and variables of debt and student loan debt, those are real issues that the baby boomers didn't face. And so how do we prepare for something like that? What are some of our greatest assets that can help us anticipate some of those issues that we believe are going to cause America to really lose its value in dollar and its value in reason to invest in America? Because really what it's about and how we live our lives is to be dominant. You want to be the greatest parent. You want to be the greatest teacher. You want to be the greatest whatever it is you're doing. I noticed that growing up and throughout my addiction, average was cool with me. I became extremely complacent. But growing up as an athlete, and I believe most 80s babies will agree with me, we competed. We played a sport and we don't quit. We rise to the occasion and we battle back. I think a good majority of the population of the United States in the 80s era were competitive in some nature. So I think it's important that we look at ways where we can prevent certain numbers from harming or being a burden to our economy moving forward in the future. I think athletics and sports has a lot to do with some of the issues that we see with incarceration. So I'm speaking up on that, and I'm asking if anybody has any ideas, let's talk about it. 580-583-6704. coach.mystic2018@gmail.com. Just over 10 minutes. I want to keep it below 15. So listen, just a quick summary is what we ran over. Moving forward, let's engage. Thank you for the feedback. Let's continue with that if we don't mind. When you're out with your friends, whenever you're out throughout your day, look at ways to where you're able to be creative and add to a situation, or I don't know how to put this. What are you doing it for? I mean, that's really a question that's so simple, but it's so hard. Only a boss can do it. And so just each day, just ask your, what am I doing this for? Boom, I got to do this. Boss want me to go do this. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to make sure this. Yeah, my hands is behind this. That's why it's going to be like this. So I'm going to do it the best of my capabilities, because they're going to ask who did it, and I did it. Yeah, I like what you're doing. Keep out. He got some. I mean, that's what we doing it for. Your kids, I mean, what's tomorrow going to look like for them? At what point are you going to be able to talk to your kids, or at what point are your kids going to be able to talk to their kids about legacy and continue on to other planets? That's some weird, awkward shit to talk about, and it's only things that bosses can look at, but it needs to be talked about. 80s babies, we got to lead. And even if it's some conversations that are that far out, and I'm talking from the hood all the way up to the boardroom, from the hood all the way up to corporate, it's a conversation we need to have. To maintain greatness in America, we got to be cutting edge on everything. I'm talking from the hood to the corporate room. We need to be cutting edge thinking in every avenue, period. Because that's what we bring to the world, creativity. That's what we're going to bring to Martians when we land on other planets. And we need to boss up and walk up straight, because that's what we are in America. We are creative. We grind. So you'll hear me talk a lot about the tribe issue and the individual tribe and nation issue, but ultimately, this is a together thing. When I fart in public, it's going to affect your nose. You hear me cuss somebody out, it's going to affect your ears. What we do affects people around us. I don't give a damn if it's an African American to a black American to a Chinese American. But all that shit that we need to work and tweak on and improve on is stuff that it's within. That's the only thing that I feel like moving forward is going to hold us back as a humanity, is not to look within. All these crazy shootings and all this that's people doing their own stuff. That's people probably influencing him to want to do shit like that around him. So don't be surprised if somebody around you or somebody you know had enough and and just started putting bullets in places. You didn't do enough. That's exactly what it is. So how do we improve that? Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. That's how we improve it. It's time to boss up. I'm out.